enjoy it, and because the public obviously enjoy it because they come to pay to watch us.
Radio Bristol, the weather forecast until dawn. Most districts will have bright or sunny intervals this afternoon, but it will be mainly cloudy with scattered showers. Later, heavy rain will be spreading into the west.
We're not worried about the wet. It's one of those things, you'd have to take the weather as it comes. Visibility is cut down greatly, you can't see half as well, so you're more prone to hitting things. Other cars hitting you and you hitting other cars and this sort of thing.
Tom Pitcher has raced stock cars for 10 years and was world champion in 1968. But he didn't race in the 1972 season, and since then the specifications for Formula 2 cars have been altered to permit the use of modern high-performance engines. 795, designed by Tom and his mechanic Pete, was built during the winter for around £600, excluding labour, with a chassis constructed from welded box-section steel. The ex-Formula 3 racing engine is basically a 997cc Ford Anglia block, modified by the designer Charles Lucas and fitted with a Cosworth head. The two downdraft twin-choke Weber carburettors are equivalent to having one ordinary carburettor for each of the 4 cylinders, and the engine produces 127 brake horsepower at 10,000 revs, which is its normal racing speed. 795 has been tried on a test track, but today is its first race. It's also the first qualifying round of the season.
There's a qualifying round at every circuit. I'll do all the qualifying rounds if you want, or you can do 3 of them. Only your best 3 scores and your best 3 qualifying rounds count. And this gives you a position in the semi-final. If you score maximum in 3 qualifying rounds, there's a good chance you'll be on pole position for the semi-final, pole position, front position.
Because of the afternoon's high winds and continual heavy rain, the almost bald tyres favoured for racing under normal conditions are changed for others with a deep tread. This qualifying round is not only the first test for the car, but the first rung in the ladder which leads to the World Championship. Because of the flooded track, the driving at this first meeting is unusually sedate, the discreet nudge rather than the straight shunt. Collisions are still a distinctive feature of stock car racing. They're what people pay to watch. But the collisions are only possible because the small quarter-mile circuits without long straights keep the overall speed down even on a bone-dry track to an absolute maximum of about 75 miles an hour. It is not top speed, but robustness, maneuverability, and above all acceleration to exploit the mistakes made by others, which are the attributes of a successful car. Because the circuits are so small and acceleration so vital, there is no gear changing during the race. The drivers shift into second as they start and then stay there. With engines tuned to run properly only at very high revs in this gear, any deceleration for evasive action or cornering produces the distinctive crackle. The strain on what is basically only a small pushrod engine of operating for 20 laps at or near 10,000 revs puts more cars out of action than the collisions. But 795, a thoroughbred on a good day, performed perfectly. Tom went into the lead early and stayed there.
It was very disappointing to me because I built a car that was a replica racer, so I wanted to go fast in the car. On a very wet circuit, you cannot go quickly. but we've learnt that it would win, which is the object to any sport, I would think, to win. You don't build a stock car to go out and come second.
By early June, 795 has participated in 13 races and won 6 of them. With the increasing sophistication of stock cars, connections with the auto trade are essential for the drivers. Tom's director of a garage in Christchurch, and most of the work on 795 is done there after it closes by Tom and his fitter Pete.
Okay, roll it off now.
The car is fitted with a limited slip differential and back axle, both designed for use in hot versions of the Ford Cortina. 2 days previously, the mounts for the axle partially sheared during a race. Tom still won.
Basically, though, you haven't had the teething troubles that you would expect from a new car.
No, and the handling has been a lot better.
A lot better than you
expected.
ever expected.
No real major problems. This is the first real snag that we've come up against. But it's, you know, we'll get over it. We'll whip the axle out and strengthen it up.
Yeah, that should be all right.
You can roll it in for us, can't you?
Yeah.
It's a very rough circuit we were racing on when it failed, and it didn't fail enough to lose us the race. We won both the races we were in. We've welded brackets to take our form of rear suspension on the part of the Ford axle, and the Ford axle wouldn't stand it.
I think next week get over the match and really give it a good test.
Yeah, give it a good thrash, make
Don't
sure
want that sort of thing happening again, really. What we're going to do to it should be all right. It's not cure the trouble.
Sounds awful now. Is this how it was the last meeting?
No, so it's worse now than it was at Stoke
Is it?
Sunday, yeah.
I think we'll have to stop in a minute and
Yeah,
we'll
I'll get him back in.
change those plugs over and try
Yeah.
these other ones we've brought out.
When what matters isn't destroying as many of the opposition cars as possible, but staying out of their way and winning with your own, there is a premium on mechanical reliability and performance quite alien to stock car racing's crude beginnings as what the Americans call demolition derbies. Stock cars are no longer glorified adult dodgems, and stock car racing is, in effect, the poor participant's motor spirit.
I think those plugs are definitely better though, Rich.
Yeah, it seems okay now.
I think you have to use those old ones just for warming up on.
Yeah,
Just
keep
before the race, put those other ones in.
Keep these ones. It sounds
Seems to
great.
be all right now.
Seems to sound fine now.
Yeah.
Everything seems okay.
As the technology becomes more important, so does the maintenance. Pete was Tom's mechanic 5 years ago when he last won the World Championship. And if they win again this year, the credit will be as much his as Tom's.
Yeah, stiffen the front up a bit.
That seems all right.
We could have a go at that oil pressure, see if we can alter that a little bit. But I reckon it'll be all right as it is.
Yeah.
Well, all the star grade drivers will be down tonight, as it's a qualifying round, so they all want watching. There's Roy Goodman, Dave Brown, John Holly, Tony Norton, Billy Batten, Pete Vincent, all of them going very quickly, and all of them trying for points. You know, I just try and race to win. I don't try and race any special tactics for any special meeting. It is an important one if you do win it tonight. Points-wise, it will give us a much better position than we've got in the semi-final at the moment.
As the summer wears on, Tom races once and often twice a week, every week, at meetings all over the United Kingdom and in Ireland, but particularly at the Western circuits: St Day, Weymouth, St Austell, Bristol and Newton Abbot. The relentless hammering endured by the engine in every race begins to take its toll, and an oil pressure problem develops. Neither Pete nor Tom can track down a specific cause at first, but the designer reveals that the oil pressure relief valve on this type of engine is prone to malfunction. They strip the engine down, replace the valve, and the trouble disappears. One of the advantages of using a tried and tested racing engine is that no matter what problem turns up, the chances are that someone else has already run into it and already cured it. By the end of July, though Tom is not the top scorer in the Formula 2 league, he's emerged as one of the favourites for the championship.
Well, I think I fancy Tom or Roy or John Ollie or Dave Brown. They're all pretty good drivers, and if the luck's with them on the day, I think any of them could win.
They've all got the chance. It's all there. It's on the day that counts. If they get the brakes and I don't, they'll be there. If I get the brakes, I'll have a go.
You've got to have a good car, it's got to be well prepared. You've got to have the brakes in the race, haven't you, Roy? It's just got to go like clockwork. You've only got to get one bad back marker and it can cost you the race. Because I fancy Tom to win it.
For winning the semi-final tonight at Newton Abbot against some of the best Formula 2 drivers in the country, Tom will receive, in addition to his cup, the princely sum of £15. But he's into the final and sure of a good position on the grid, and that's as sure as you ever get.
Lady Luck sitting up here, you know. I'm quite happy, very happy tonight. Extremely happy.
Some milk down, please.
Jimmy Murray, the reigning world champion and one of the unknown Irish quantity. He's been staying with Tom since he came over to England 4 days ago, and they spent last night at this hotel in Wells. So did 14 other world finalists, and the shortage of space was such that Jimmy and Pete had to share. It's difficult to think of another sport where, whatever the shortage of space, the world champion would agree to share a bed with his chief rival's mechanic. It's typical of stock car racing too, that Tom has spent the last few days before the final helping to prepare the car of the man he's hoping to beat.
So who's going to win?
I think we're going to win, Daddy.
Newton Abbot. It wouldn't go. It just wouldn't go. So we're going up to try ours this morning as well. See if it will go. They're so temperamental, these motors. When they go, they're beautiful, all lovely. When they don't go, they're just, I won't use the word, but they are. It's been used many times on my engine, I can assure you. Jimmy's had exactly the same problem.
Basically, I think it's just for the kicks. They spend a lot of money on their motor cars, but then, let's face it, in sport today, you're very lucky if you can cover your costs, leave it don't show a profit on. I don't think it's a financial success as far as the driver's concerned.
Who do you think's going to win today?
Well, I'm rooting for Tommy Pitcher. I started him on stock car racing many years ago, and I think he's way ahead of my standard when I backed it in, so I'm rooting for him today, but it's between him and Roy Goodman.
Practice revealed the presence of quantities of mud on one corner of the circuit. There can be few other world champions or would-be champions who have to sweep the track themselves before the racing starts. If the truth be told, notwithstanding the pretensions of the flag, the world for stock car enthusiasts is a very small place, no larger in fact than the United Kingdom in era, whence all the world finalists come this year. Nevertheless, the trappings are worthy of a truly international event. Need know that the helicopter bearing Miss United Kingdom into the arena picked her up all of 600 yards away. She came the rest of the way by train.
There she is right there. The gentleman driving that improbable-looking machine is Mr. Bill Bailey. Don't anybody say it, please. Off come the earmuffs, and out comes the beauty. Let's hear it. It's a windy day here today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get the helicopter out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Miss United Kingdom 1973, Miss Great Britain, or Miss England rather, 1973, Veronica Cross.
Hello, it's very nice to be here. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Veronica, what I want to... We've got a lot of your young friends and followers here. What I'd like to do, first of all, is introduce the drivers to you. But before I do that, have you, in fact, seen any of this sort of racing before at any time?
I hate to admit this is my first experience, but it's very enjoyable, very exciting.
1968 champion, the winner in 68, second place in 1969, third in 1970, from Christchurch, Tommy Pitcher.
Racetrack gossip today is full of the feeling that is alleged to exist between Tom Pitcher and Roy Goodman, a feeling contrary to the camaraderie which normally exists between the stock car drivers. Whether or not this animosity is real, there is no doubt that Goodman is a real danger from Tom's point of view, because having won the other semi-final, he has front inside position on the grid and is thus in a perfect position to baulk the man beside him, Tom.
Watch all these cars. That first corner is going to be very crucial indeed. It's the 1973 Formula 2 Championship of the World Grand Final just about to get underway. Watch the pace car. All eyes of the drivers will be on those red flashing lights. It's the green beacons they're looking for, and when they get it, the race will be underway with 25 laps to go.
This shot was taken from a remotely controlled camera mounted on the front of Tom's car and shows his point of view at the end of the preliminary lap as the pace car pulls off and the race begins.
Somebody makes it for the first bend, and it looks as though everybody's getting round quite successfully. They're still in grid order, and one car lost straight away. It looks as though we've lost Roy Goodman. The barrels go flying. What a shame. The driver's out and he's clear. 582 gets going. It's Tommy Pitcher. Malcolm Bent never started. Tommy Pitcher at the end of the first, who's now clear of Colin Hickman, 778 in second position. Running third is the 75. And a stumble for Aaron Barrymore right here on the start line as he flips up over a barrel. Right into the fence. 538 and 568 are lost too. And we're now in the fourth lap. It's still Tommy Pitcher. The first from Northern Ireland, going very strongly indeed. Jim Nummy. Graham. Graham Bunter in the 7:28 car, past the wreckage of 5:38 they go. As he comes up through the start finish line, hotly pursued by 7:78 Colin Hickman in second position. A tremendous race this is turning out to be. Tommy Pitcher not looking for trouble anywhere, not finding it either, and still holding his head as he goes down through the bottom bench into the start-finish straight. Greenwood goes on the inside of Tommy Pitcher, picks up the lead in the 17th lap. It's now the Irishman out in front, 37, Ivor Greenwood taking the lead from Tommy Pitcher. Tommy's going to use his bumper, it goes in now, sends Greenwood out wide, and Pitcher comes through tight on the inside, but not tight enough. Greenwood's faster, and is now opening up a gap. A tremendous race developing here. We're coming out to the 19th lap. They're in their 18th at the moment. That is 37. This is the Irish challenge of Ivor Greenwood, who's sweeping out in front now. And coming through on the inside of Pitcher to take second place at 75 Jim Nami. We've got Ireland, 1 and 2. 1 and 2 for Ireland as they go through the top bends. And Pitcher relegated to third. Pitcher regains the lead as they go over the line. What an incredible race this is turning out to be. And Greenwood has to sit back and wait. And he tangles with Nami in doing so. And they come to a grinding halt. The two Irishmen have locked up, and Hickman goes through on the back straight in the 21st lap. What a disappointment for the Irishman. Smoke pouring from the tyres. The two cars locked together and lost the race. It now looks as though Pitcher's got it in the bag. Oh, what a disappointment for Greenwood and Nobby. A terrible time. And there's all trouble as the cars go bouncing off them. Straight past it. All credit to Pitcher as he comes round to the start finish line. Out goes the flag though, and it was right on the line. It was Pitcher who was just a car's length ahead of 7:78. Colin Hickman for second place. I make it Fleming Bell from Northern Ireland, the 118 car in third, but we'll have to check the lap chart just to be absolutely sure.
I have only one thing to say, and that is, come here, Tom. Give us a kiss. I do. Who was that fella you let get in front? That was Jermaine Greenwood. He was doing well, wasn't he? He was doing very well. And that was a bit of hard luck. But you enjoyed that, did you? I really did. Well, there's a magnificent trophy from Miss United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1973 champion, Tommy Pitcher! It's raining out here. Thank you, love. Tommy Pitcher, ladies and gentlemen. 1968 champion, 1973 champion, Tommy Pitcher. Thank you again. Congratulations, Tom.
Oh, it's fantastic to watch. And I was really dreading that Colin Hickman would overtake him. He's right on his tail. I just couldn't believe it. He won it now. Oh, it's fantastic.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, Fleming. On top of the rock.
Oh, my God, I've done it on
the first three in the 1973 Formula 2 World Championship. Tommy Pitcher, Colin Hickman, and Fleming Bell. Three wonderful drivers. Let's hear it.